ago, when I was younger than I am right now, I had a hamster named Jimmy, short for Jimmothy. He was a hamster with many hopes and aspirations that sadly he never had the time to follow through with, such as his abandoned rock opera project. Jimmy never had the time for anything due to his unfortunate bowel situation. I had to be very careful with what I fed Jimmy. Sometimes his normal hamster food would cause irreparable damage to his colon. He certainly was smart for a ham, but not smart enough to predict what was going to happen to him next. See, one morning I took Jimmy outside for a quick walk. We did this routine walk around the neighborhood every other day because a vet told me it would strengthen his collapsed large intestine. While I was distracted by one of my evil neighbors who decided to strike up conversation, Jimmy got loose from his shackles. Actually, he didn't break free, someone or something took him. I saw a trail of poop going into the woods. I knew he was out there. So I ran home as fast as I could to prepare. I got my miniature ambulance and my caltrop from my cabinet and prepared a bowl of popcorn to soothe myself before I went to battle with the beast that took Jimmy. But the scariest thing happened. When I came back from peeing, I walked to my table where I'd set down my popcorn, but it wasn't there. I had sworn I left my popcorn on the table, but in case I was wrong, I had to search my home for the bowl. Under the table, above the table, left of the table, around the table. It was nowhere to be seen. That's when I remembered there was one last place I hadn't checked, Jimmy's cellar. So I went down into Jimmy's cellar, shaking and tearing up at the thought of him. And that's when I saw it. Perched on top of my delicious bowl of popcorn was some sort of demonic mutation that took the form of Jimmy. It was hairless and wrinkled, much like my balls. It looked up at me with a piece of popcorn in its tiny palms. I whipped out my cellular device. My slimy hands almost caused me to drop it. And I snapped the very photo. When I slipped my phone back into my pocket, I confronted Jimmy.
Give me back my popcorn!
I spoke softly. Jimmy just sat there, only occasionally shoving a piece of popcorn into his hideous mouth. That's when I knew I had truly lost it. So I pulled out my minigun and shot him. It was the only thing I could do. 4 months later, I still think about Jimmy and what I had to do for the sake of all humankind. It still haunts me. It truly haunts me. So please, share my story so the world can see the truth. R.I.P. Jimmy. He was racist. Much like my balls.